Well, hello, and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2. We have mushrooms that need to be gotten, but we have full supplies. Oh, well, apparently this worked. So, apparently we're going to be eating some supplies and then getting some mushrooms, but look at the roll we just got. This is fantastic. We're going to make ourselves useful. As soon as I finished the last episode, I used some dice and accidentally got access to Cadet's workshop here. Basically, if you'll remember, Cadet was over on the far spindle, and she was the message carrier, and found a data drive, and now she needs help decrypting it, because it's got some serious stuff going on, and we've got bonuses to both of those. We do need to do a little bit more here, so let's use our crummiest dice, where we get 2+. Really? We got the neutral outcome? Is that what you're going to give me, game? Is that what you think's appropriate? So, yeah, that's what I thought. Sheesh. New location discovered. Fabricator pay. Oh. What did we get? Engine component fabricators in the hub are for ship fitters only. Oh. Very nice. We can get engine components if we need them. Oh, no, hold on. Nope, not going there. Not going there. I'm going here. Okay, so I almost have access to here. So let's just get this real quick. It's just one time every time. Even if we have an 8 on a 6-sided die, it's just one every time. That's some quality work you've been doing. The voice booms through the locker room after your ship fitter shift. But why are you doing grunt work, Sleeper? Okay, hold on. We get his face. You turn to see a large man with a metal arm and bright patterned clothes. You spent enough time here to immediately know it's Surya, owner of the yard and well-known ship fitter. Well? Surya wipes his one metallic hand on a cloth, polishing its painted surface. What do you have to say for yourself? I wanted to meet you. I needed the chits. I don't need the chits, so yeah, it's you. Surya smiles. Well, I'm here, aren't I? I know a lot of what happens in the scatter yard, Sleeper. And what I don't know, people tell me. He smiles proudly. And I know you have a sheep. Someone who has a ship, especially a ship like yours, should not be lugging around my workers' tools. Surya flexes his artificial arm, inspecting it. That to a person like me is a waste. I do what I need to. Ships cost cryo to run. Yeah, I do what I need to. I respect that, he smiles. You impressed me. I went to take a look at your ship, Sleeper. Surya goes back to working on the hand. I call it professional curiosity. It's a bit drab. Surya looks up and meets your eye. An old Stolheim rig, still in corporate colors. He shakes his head. No. I feel like it's your problem. People want a crew that looks the part. An outfit with an outfit, he grins. Look at my yard. I grew it from a chunk of scrap by showing people I was professional. I had standards. I made Surya's yard recognizable. Your problem is you are working as a ship fitter's mate, when you should be reimagining much more for yourself and your crew. I'm trying to go between Indian accent and Jamaican accent, and the Jamaican is winning here. Which I don't know. I'm gonna try and hit that accent between the two of them back and forth. Your problem is you are working as a shipfitter's mate when you should be imagining much more for yourself and your crew. Surya smiles. And so that got me thinking. I want to help you to clean up that old rig, paint it up, give it some color. He tucks the cloth away in his tool belt. How does that sound? Yeah, that sounds good. Perfect, Surya booms. The thing is, you don't just slap some paint on an old rig like that. And for this to work, we need to look to reflect your crew, your style. So while I'm happy to do the painting with my team, I need you to go find some inspiration. Sawyer looks away, towards the locker room's lone window. Luckily, the belt is full of it. Full of pattern and texture and style. There's nothing uniform about this place, and it's the better for it. Sawyer looks back at you. You need to go out there, find some views, some sights, and make your own designs. Here, he proudly pulls a small slate from his tool bag. It has a 64-color screen. I fixed it up myself. You take and inspect the slate, made from mismatched pieces, but elegantly so. See what you find to inspire you, he smiles. Then come see me again. Thank you. Where should I go? I can see what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's in it for me financially? Sawyer eyes you carefully. How does this make you any chits? That's the other part of the proposal. Where you take this voyage around the belt, you can do something for me and get paid for it. Free of charge. I will paint your rig with the look and name of my yard here, Sawyer's Yard. It commands respect, he nods sagely. You take that name to the rest of the belt, represent it, and on your travels, spread it to other crews. For this, I will pay you 300 cryo. It's mutually beneficial. You will earn better doing this than any yard work, and I get increased custom. What's not to like? Sawyer awaits your response calmly, but you feel his expectant eyes on you. I don't love these colors. Yeah, it's a deal. Wonderful, Sawyer beams. I will send my team over immediately. By the time you return to your rig, they should be done. He reaches into his work pouch. Here, 150 cryo now. He takes out another handful of high-value chits. Another 150 cryo when you return with those designs. Take the chit. Sure. You take the cryo. Of course, I will give you the other half on your return with those designs. He smiles apologetically. I need to be sure you don't repaint the ship before your pilgrimage is done. It's only fair. Keep the slate. He waves an arm at you to put it away. Go find inspiration. Bring me those designs. I don't want to see you back in the shipyard. You need to be out there, Sawyer smiles. It was a pleasure. And before you can say anything else, he's gone. Time to find out what his crew have done to your rig. A new drive and a new location. Oh. The painters can return your rig to its old paint, but you have to pay them extra to convince them. Sorry, it won't be happy. No, I guess he would not. In my experience, the Indian accent and the Jamaican accent are unfortunately close on the tongue. The Jamaican is just sort of more relaxed. It's kind of like the Southern equivalent to Indian, at least in my mind. And I'm weird, so sorry about that. It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. Okay, a dock usage fee. I guess then the only thing we have left to do is this right here. Yeah, we can buy a meal, we can get our supplies, which we don't need to. And then we gotta wait for them to come back. So, I guess we're gonna end the cycle, grab some more dice, have a little sandwich. Oh, terrible dice. Sleeper, Seraphin's voice echoes through the ship. You in here? You glide down to the airlock, unsure of what state you're about to find your pilot in. Seraphin floats in the airlock, his arms above his head, gripping the lip of the interior door to hold himself in place. Come on, we need to talk. There's a straight-faced seriousness to Seraphin you weren't expecting, especially considering that he spent the last 2 cycles with Marco. You in trouble already? Seraphin shakes his head. I'm not messing around, just come. Seraphin leads you across the bridge, but rather than turn towards the automated shuttle bay that connects Marco's yard to the rest of the assembly, he leads you deeper into the guts of the yard itself. As he does, he begins to speak. I told Marco about Lane, about our escape, about everything. Seraphin ducks under a large pipe. He gets it. He's worked in Darkside. You trust him? Let him talk. He comes to a sealed door and hammers in an entry code. Somewhere, machines start whirring. Remember in Wellspring, after everything what I said? Seraphin turns his face to you. That we can't run forever? About taking Lane on? Yes. I mean, He folds his arms. That will always be true, but no. He meets your eye. That if we want to be free, we need to fight back. The door suddenly squeaks as the ancient motors kick in and drag it across its corroded tracks. It reveals a large, half-lit chamber, its furthest parts masked with layers of scaffolding and frames, so it's hard to tell where the room actually ends. At the center, in a pool of warm light, Marco floats beside a terminal screen. Let's see, what voice did we give him? Sleeper! He touches his brow in a mock salute as you enter. Been busy plotting? What happened to been drinking buddies? We got all the drinking done in the first cycle. Marco smiles. The second cycle was all about problem solving. Near the door you entered through screeched shut, and then a sudden silence descends. No, he was French. Yeah, he was French. Hold on. Sorry to drag you out here, Sleeper, but I really can't be overheard on this one. He sighs. We are close to Darkside here, and Uitspo have ambitions, shall we say, in the scatteryards. Finn told me the whole story, and I'm sorry for your troubles. He clasps his hands together. You've done well to evade Len this far. But you must understand, he has also been distracted. Since Hexport went up, well, Darkside has been in crisis. If the war was the pressure shift that allowed Uitspo to build its strength, Hexport was the breach to blow it wide open. Marco springs his hands apart. Hexport's their justification for imposing total control in the name of protection. Marco glances away into a dark corner of the room, and if my hunch is correct, that's how they will extend their reach to the scatteryards. Where's this going? Where's this going? Marco laughs and looks at Seraphin. Straight to the business, this one. I'm done running, Sleeper. Seraphin cuts in. I hate looking over my shoulder every cycle. I hate the nightmares, the fear. I want to face this head on, for better or worse. He looks away, scowling. I won't be controlled by Lane, and this is our chance to break that control. Lane is hunting you, Sleeper, which means he's not in Darkside. Marco raises an eyebrow. This is good for you. There are people in Darkside resisting Uitspo, though I hear it's not going well for them. If you could find them, find out what they need, there's a chance here. Marco pauses, and you get the feeling he's assessing your reaction. Taking action is a choice right now, Sleeper, but soon it won't be. Seraphin glances at Marco. Not if what Marco's telling me is true. Let's do this on our own terms. What do we need to do? Yeah. No, I mean, it has been my life, but it does not need to be. Seraphin meets your eye with conviction. Thank you, Sleeper. I know we can do this. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Marco interrupts. I will need some time to work this out. If you two want to go to Darkside, there is no way you can take that stolen rig. It was a big enough risk just to bring it here. He glances at Seraphin, and you get the feeling he's already been reprimanded for this. So, I need to find you a way in and a way out. Marco rubs his hands together. I know it can be done. Marco turns to you. I recommend you take the next few cycles to prepare. The scatteryards are a good place to both spend and make cryo, depending on your need. And Finn, Marco puts a hand to his friend's shoulder, try to stay cool. This will be Recon only, a chance to see what's happening on Darkside and make your connections. It's not the time for grand gestures. Seraphin nods. Thank you, Marco. He glances at you. We'll keep things quiet until you're ready. You and Seraphin leave the hidden bay, the door screeching open to allow you to exit. When it seals once more, Seraphin turns to you. This is our chance to shift things, Sleeper. Let's keep our heads in the game. All right, I'll start preparing. Seraphin nods. Well, all right then. We should give Marco some time. I've got a few things I want to take care of in the scatteryards, and I want to get a message to Tala. I know she'd want to hear from me before he trails off. Let's make sure we're ready. Keep your head up, Sleeper. I'll see you in the rig. And with that, Seraphin kicks off down the passage on his way to the shuttle dock. You watch him go, unsure if you're impressed or concerned about his headstrong nature. Either way, things are in motion. The only thing you can do now is to give yourself the best chance of success. I kind of like the color scheme. It's nice. It's right nice. All right, let's eat a bit of this. A bit of this. There we go. Get some energy back. And then, actually, let's go ahead and use one of these to harvest some mushrooms. Get some supplies, right? No. We did not get the supplies. No. This is garbage. Absolute steaming garbage. All right, fine. Keep your mushrooms. New location discovered. Oh. Market yard. Sparse shift lifter section. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's going to take 2 turns to get his plan together. So we've got 2 turns to hopefully crack Cadet's code here. We got a couple of 6s, so this will make it super easy. Let's see. If we get a 7 over here, and we get a for sure, we get 2. If we get a 7 over here, and to get a for sure, we get a 3. Okay. So this is the way to go. We got to break that encryption. Yeah, get us more supplies, apparently. Not that we particularly need more supplies, but... What's these dice? Why am I getting garbage dice? Sheesh. Alright, fine. Let's come over here. Obviously, we need to do that. Woo! Okay, another one of those and we'll have it. Come on, get lucky. Get lucky, get lucky, 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 lucky. Yes, we got it. Cadet catches your eye as you look over at her. What is it? She takes the end of the metal chopstick she'd been chewing on out of her mouth. Got something? Cadet had given up already for the cycle, and while you were cracking the drives complex encryption on her friend's workstation, she'd been floating in the middle of the small workshop, pinging bits of scrap off the shelving in the wall. Now, she spins in the air and pushes off the ceiling, spinning as she glides so she lands perfectly behind you, leaning over the terminal screen. As she does, you hit a key, executing the final decryption process. Slick. She goes to ruffle your hair, but you don't have any. Instead, she just wobbles your head playfully. What we got? I forget her voice. We haven't seen her for, 10 episodes? At least. With Cadet hanging over your shoulder, you try to concentrate on the data spooling across the screen. The first thing that catches your eye is the steady repetition of CWEXT, an identifier for Conway Extractions, the behemoth conglomerate currently waging a corporate war with Senate and the inner system. Why Conway? What's this data? You stop the scroll, looking for details. Hit that thing. Cadet pokes the screen, making it wobble. You dutifully click. A comment expands on the code, a note left by someone. It mentions tests and protocols, discusses reverse engineering and carrier signals. You close it and find another. Drone latency, another. Security bypass, one more. Kill switch. It takes a long time, you and Cadet squinting into the blue screen to build up a picture of what you're looking at. When you're done, both of you sit back, your eyes sore and your minds clogged with technical terminology. Crap. Cadet shakes her head. They were dissecting it alive. This, she's referring to the Conway drone mind. This stream of data was scraped from. Huge volumes of internal data, of control systems, protocols, and passphrases. The kind of data you imagine was closely guarded by Conway, kept secret to allow the smooth operation of its drones. This thing is some kind of general or manager, right? Giving orders out to all the little drones that work for it. Cadet squints. I always thought Conway controlled its drones remotely, with people. Those zero latency point interfaces you hear about. From what you know, Cadet is right. Conway's known for their novel solution to the scale and the logistical problems of the surrogate systems. Extraction and security drone ships piloted from light years away with proprietary comms interfaces. A drone mind. What this code is scraped from should be a kind of distributor, a relay for the local drones that links to the closely guarded transmitter-receiver. But this data suggests otherwise. It suggests an active cognitive process, far more complex than any protocol you've heard of. A thinking machine.
Look,
Cadet jabs at the screen again.
Is that?
She squints. You see a line in the data stream that reads simply,
"Stop, get out, stop, get out, stop, get out, stop, get out." How did they do this?
Cadet leans back.
Everyone knows captured convoy drones purge themselves, and everything else is in the couple of square clicks around them when captured. You rip the control core out of one, sure, you can disassemble it, but the system will be gone. This one was still running when they took it apart. It should have gone up like a tactical nuke the moment they started.
She stops suddenly, the fate of Hexport jumping to her mind.
Is that what happened? How did they get all of this and get it out on a drive?
Silence fills the workshop. You look back to the screen, unsure of the answers to Cadet's questions. You feel a deep chill, one you know has nothing to do with the temperature of the workshop.
Who was doing this?
Cadet scans. The code once more. Oh, come on, let's get a positive.
I read the neutral.
You go back over the data. It's scrubbed clean, not a mention of who's scraping the data. You go over it again. Nothing. Not a single clue. The thought starts a process in your mind. Who scrubs data this clean? Who wants Conway drone protocols? Senate stat? Or is that too simple? Too obvious for the Conway's lone opponent in this system-wide war? It's a possibility, so you say it out loud.
Yeah, that'd be my first guess too.
Cadet yawns.
But it's still a guess.
We've been at this too long. Cadet sighs. I'm cooked. She pushes away from the terminal and floats to the room, stretching out her aching back.
We know they had this drone mined on Hexport. That's where they were cutting it, scraping it. We know something happened and Hexport went up.
She sketches her thoughts out in the air with hand gestures as she summarizes.
The data got out on that drive, I'm assuming before the explosion, then got to the far spindle. Someone tried to courier it, using me, but the receiver wasn't there.
She turns and looks at you.
Which is when they ruined my life and my job trying to get it back.
This data's valuable.
That's for sure. Imagine taking control of one of those drones, turning them all away, or towards any target you wanted.
She floats over to the drive and picks it up.
This thing's the only way to buy my life back.
Cadet frowns at it.
The way I see it, we have to expose these fools so they leave me, or give them the data so they piss off forever.
We can't give them that. What's the plan?
All the roads lead in one direction, I'm afraid.
She spins the drive in the air.
Back home. Hexport. If there's anything to confirm or deny this data, if there's anything to connect to, if there's anything left at all, it'll be in the remains of that station. I had a feeling it might come to this, so I made some inquiries when I first got here. The word is that the place is irradiated, but I've also heard the radiation's fading, and it's not like half of the belt isn't glowing anyway.
She shrugs grimly.
With suits, we'd have maybe a few cycles before it started to leak through. The problem is getting in.
She puts the drive back in the desk's magnetic surface.
Far spindle's a no. Not only do they not want to get picked up there, but the debris is denser on that side. No safe way in. Darkside's the best bet.
She shakes her head.
But I heard you have some trouble waiting for you there.
What if I deal with the trouble?
Then we'd have a clear shot at it.
She shrugs. Easier said than done.
This place is one of a stowaway spot, shielded from everything. Plus, the scatter yards are no one's territory. I want to leave the drive here.
She squints at you.
No peeking. But me, I want to keep moving. So I was thinking I could make myself useful till you shake that trouble in Darkside.
She smiles.
Work for a room and board and all that.
You want to come with me?
Yeah, she smiles. Professionally speaking. What do you say?
She folds her arms.
You know I'm tough, and I can do plenty besides ride an air bike.
You're in. Just jump in the ship. We got plenty.
That's the answer I was looking for.
Cadet scans the workshop.
I've had enough of spacer bathrooms for a lifetime. I'll make myself at home on your rig. She picks up the drive and tucks it in a pocket. Cadet glances away at the racks on the wall, and you follow her eyes to spot her air bike, where it's hanging, carefully secured and pristinely kept. Cadet gives you a hard look. You better have room for my bike. Yay, new ship crew! Hey, and we got the Spindlejack. We recruited Cadet to our crew. Wonderful new Xbox Game Pass trophy for myself. We can recon, investigate, and repaint. Make sketches across the belt. How do we do that? I guess we'll have to go to various places and find out. Okay, all right. Yard supply, the spent drive. None of this we particularly need. Fabricator Bay, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and just plunk some money down here so everybody knows what goes. Fabricator Bay access. Oh, we can build an engine component. Component errors, component craft. Oh, fun. Well, let's risk it. Okay, so it's a couple of dice are required to make an engine component. Oh no, we totally failed. Okay, I like that. So the only thing you lose is the component that you're trying to build. Cool. Well, I think there's nothing for it. Let's pop the cycle. You find Seraphin and Marco waiting for you in the hidden room where you met before. They're chatting quietly, their shadows cast across the scaffolding by a small lamp. Sleeper, Marco's got something good. He nods to Marco. Tell him. Marco gives you a nod as you look at him. His mood quiet, conspiratorial. I don't know if it's as good as Finn thinks, but it's an opening. I heard back from a friend of mine who runs a yard on the edge of the cluster. A fair way out from here. Smart guy. He makes a tidy profit of selling fuel to freight crews on the way to Darkside. He undercuts the Darkside dockyard fuel prices, which include a cut for Utspo. So they stop off at his place to fill up before heading in. Marco smiles. Clearly, this is the kind of business. This guy, he owes me a favor, and I'm going to call it in. He can get a few of us into a freight crew, swap us out from the usuals who stay at his place, and let him have a few drinks on him. The crew, meaning us, will deliver the freight, complete with a stopover for cargo loading in Darkside. He smiles, which is when you do what you need to do. We'll have as long as you need, but the more time we spend there, the more likely they'll discover us. Marco looks at you. We'll keep our heads down, sleep, and eat on the freighter. Then once we're done and the freighter's loaded, we'll take it out again. Return to my friend's yard and swap the crews back. He shrugs, emphasizing the simplicity of the plan. No one will ever know we were there. See? It's good. Seraphin nods. It'll work, right? Yeah, okay, sounds good. Solid, no problems. Seraphin looks concerned. It's gonna be tight, but I reckon you can get what you need in time. Make some connections with whoever's resisting Utspo. Get an idea of their operation. Look for weaknesses. You'll have to be quiet, Finn. Marco gives you both a warning look. No noise, no attention. This can quickly become a one-way ticket. Seraphin turns to you. Think you can handle that? Together we'll get it done. Seraphin and Marco exchange concerned glances. What aren't they telling you? There's one more thing, Sleeper. Seraphin looks down. Someone needs to stay with the rig. Someone who can pilot it if there's any attention at the yard. He meets your eye. Has to be me. Has to be like this, I'm sorry. I'd be going in with you. Marco puts a reassuring hand to your shoulder. I know Darkside. I'll guide you all the way in and all the way out. There'll be room for one more on the crew. I'll leave who that is to you. But let me give you some advice. He leans in closer. You better be really sure you trust anybody you take on this one. You look between the two of them. Just you and Marco might be the safer option. The fewer people, the less likely it is you give yourselves away. But then, if Marco doesn't keep up his end of the bargain, you'll want all the backup you can get. The other problem is that we have to go right away. You see the rising tension in Marco's face. The freight is arriving this cycle. Seraphin returns to you. I'm sorry I can't come, Sleeper, but we need to do this now. Then let's do it. Seraphin nods, his expression dark. I'll be ready whenever you need. Just give me the word, and we'll head out into my friend's yard. Marco sighs. We keep this tight, and nothing needs to go wrong. His words echo in your mind as you leave the hidden room, a creeping doubt settling itself in the pit of your stomach. This is it. Time to go back to Darkside. New local crew available. New contact on map. Okay. Darkside Recon, let's go. The freighter hangs over the ragged shipyard as the rig idles in the dock. Your eyes trace the fuel lines, snaking up to its underside where they disappear into the dark. A chirp from the pilot's console breaks the silence. Marco's signal. This is it, Sleeper. Seraphin settles back from the controls of your rig. He looks over his shoulder at you. You better get going. If this goes wrong, I'm blaming you. Don't get too bored. I'll do my best. Seraphin smirks. Hope they have something to drink in the yard. You glide towards the back of the cockpit. Seraphin clears his throat. Just don't do anything reckless, all right? As you float down the corridor towards the airlock, Marco comes to meet you. His usual gear swapped out for a plain set of overalls that you imagine are borrowed from the freighter crew. You ready to go, Sleeper? The crew were replacing are already in the yard, so the sooner we get on board, the better. He gives you a look. How are you feeling? Just fine. Confident. Concerned. Confident. Just fine. Marco meets your eyes. If you want to do this, we need to trust each other. He pats you on the shoulder as you cross into the airlock. The airlock cycles, and Marco leads you into the yard through a series of shadowy passages that connect the two docking bridges. Now is the time, Sleeper, Marco says as you work your way through the yard. Any questions, any concerns, speak up now. Will we have to pass any checks? What do we do when we get there? Yeah, checks. Marco shrugs. This freighter is a known ship to Utspo. It makes this route on a regular basis. They have no reason to suspect it. You reach a vertical tunnel and start ascending. At the docks, we'll probably have to give some enforcers a nod and a smile, but that's it. You come out at the entrance to the other docking tunnel, the freighter filling the viewing window, so all you can see are the plates of its scratched hull. Junie's waiting by the docking bridge, looking sheepish in a set of crew overalls with rolled legs and sleeves. Sleeper, is this really necessary? We're being discreet. Well, why aren't you wearing any, then? Junie shakes her head and pats down her sides. These things don't have even close to enough pockets. Where am I supposed to keep my gear? Sorry to interrupt, but we do need to go. Marco gestures to the docking bridge. You hit the bottom to open the doors and glide towards the freighter's airlock. As you do, the fear settles in. You're going back to Darkside. All right, what do we got? Darkside sprawls out across the starscape. Its surface a vast and random accumulation of structures, lights, and signs. You've watched it as the freighter cut across the belt. As it grew, cycle by cycle, like a stain across the cockpit glass. Watching it approach, the fragmented memories of your time there pass through your mind, each one dissolving the moment you try to focus on it. Only the sensations remain. Despair, claustrophobia, fear, all somehow strengthened by their disconnected nature. It's as if by not being attached to specific memories, they can run free through your mind, as alive as they were in the first moment of feeling. Instruction received. Appreciate it. Marco is in the pilot seat, talking to the port authority. Incoming to Strut 2-3. He turns back to you, clicking off the outgoing comms channel. First step complete. We've got docking approval as expected. He raises his eyebrows, noticing something in your face. Keep it together, all right? I've got this. I'm fine. Good. He turns back to the controls. I get it. Junie's voice carries across the cockpit, catching your attention. This place comes with a lot of baggage, right? She nods. I can understand that. But you aren't here alone. Not this time. Junie gives you a serious look. We'll look out for you. There's a hollow rumble through the body of the freighter as Marco brings it into the dock. The noises of this draftier, more industrial ship differ to those of your rig. And you haven't quite got used to them yet. A squawk of noise over the comms sends Marco scabbling at the controls to submit the docking code he was sent just moments before. There's an agonizing wait, and then a chirp as the code is accepted. The freighter's docked. All right, let me go out first. Talk to the dockers, start the unloading. He unclips from his seat. Then you're good to go. Okay, I'll wait. Marco nods. All right, hold fast. And he glides out of the cockpit without waiting for a response. You hold your nerve, looking out at the flickering lights and distant traffic. The airlock clunks open and closed again. Time drags on. You turn your attention to the job ahead, seeing it stretched out in front of you. Darkside seems impossibly vast, too vast to find a specific person, but just to find a type of person. Someone unhappy with Utspo's gains, ready to risk their life to change this place, and pushed to a point of desperation or anger. Well, that might be a lot more doable. But first you must understand Utspo, see how they run this place, where they meet, what they talk about. Find where Utspo is weakest. Find where they can be broken. And think about the pressure that might be applied, not just by you, but by all of Darkside. You hear a tapping in the corner and see Junie with her deck out on her lap, fingers dancing over the keys. She looks hard at work, focused. What are you working on? Me? Oh. Junie reflexively shuts off the screen as if it was showing something illicit. Nothing, just a project of mine. Sorry. She pauses, sighs, and turns the deck back on, rotating its clip-on screen to face you. She hits a large key and four-legged shape appears, drawn in simple lines, its tail twitching as it sits. It helps me relax. She glances at the screen, coding its behaviors. You watch as the cat lifts a paw and bats at a handful of pixels. A fly? Junie switches the deck off again. I'll stay focused on the job. It won't happen again. She looks down, clearly embarrassed. That's okay. She smiles a tight smile. Thanks. The airlock cycles once more, and moments later Marco's in the cockpit, sweat beading on his brow. He takes a moment, his mood uncharacteristically flustered. Well, I bent the truth a little back there, but I think we're good. He runs a hand over his hair, slicking it back into place. Luckily, I've had a lot of practice lying to dock workers. He gives you a wink. They'll begin unloading later this cycle, and they won't be in a rush. He smiles. We have our time as promised. But the sudden interjection evaporates any relief you were feeling. Utspo are watching these ducks. That I know for sure. For now, we are just another freighter, but all our coming and going, that could be a problem. He turns to you. And we can try to disable their monitoring or just get the job done before it becomes an issue. Why didn't you say anything earlier? I'll take a look. Marco nods. I'm sure you will. Either way, we need to get on with what we're doing. Marco folds his arms. Utspo are everywhere, but we need to understand them, to know what is happening inside their organization. We slip under their skin and find out how they work. Marco looks to you. This is what I recommend. But now, Sleeper, it is your turn to lead. He folds his arms. Tell us where to begin. You feel the attention, the pressure shift to you. Time to find some allies. Time to find Utspo's weakness. Time to stop running and resist. 1 crisis active. +1 per cycle. Oh, Utspo's hunting us down. Oh, there's a lot. This is the big place. All right. The Rise residential towers, track enforcers, or hack Utspo comms. Oh, she's gonna be good at this. Okay. It might take a little while, especially with these. Oh, look at these terrible dice. Terrible dice. A Darkside freight dock surveillance. Oh, we need to get rid of this. Yeah, cut connections, hack surveillance. Yeah, we need to do that as soon as possible. Eavesdropping, docker debate. What is this? The fastest way to get information on Utspo will be to kick up a conversation. Yeah, no, that's not happening. You might be able to do some of that, but we can do some eavesdropping. Both of us work on this one. Okay, I think we got to get rid of we got to get rid of this. So, Junie, let's make him go dark. And then we'll have him. Yes. We'll have him start on some stuff. Just a straight 6. So those are 2 each. That's 2. Okay, so it's the same either way, even though this one's more dangerous. Yeesh. Okay, and then we're going to push and make this a 6 and finish this. Whoa. First try. Let's do this. Nothing happened. Oh, but now we don't get a bonus stress each turn, right? Right, that's what we're doing. And the freighter, what do we got on the freighter? Nothing. That's just to okay. Exciting. Exciting. All right, and you have fairly garbage dice. Go talk to some people and see. Don't get the bad outcome. No, oh, you got stressed. Only a little bit of stress. Come on. No bad. No bad. No whammies. Oh, more whammies. Well, we got some shore leave. Okay. You gotta chill now. And I've got an extra die that I'm not gonna use. Even though this would give me give me a 2. No. Yeah, okay, so we'd get a 2 on either here, and I don't like that idea. All right, we're going to take our time. We've got, like, at least 5 cycles. Well, I actually don't know that. Okay, it is taking a supply cycle, so it's the same. Oh, what are these dice? Well, at least I got some good dice. All right, let's do some eavesdropping. Because this is terrible. We might be able to use this one. Yeah, we're going to use this 2, make it a 3, and we get... Ah, good. Oh, we found a new location. Oh, okay, so he's going to be good at steal a passkey. I'm actually going to be better at him at stealing a passkey. So this will give me a 4. Is this dangerous, though? What if we put this over here? Extract to the cipher. Come on. Yes, positive outcome. Perfect. Ugh. Okay, so she could get a 2. And possibly risk that. He's got 2s, and that's it. Okay, I'm going to push. Take this 5. Oh, actually, I'll take this. So this on a positive outcome gets us 2. This on a positive outcome gets us 3. So this is the preferred way to go. Do we risk it? He's already got 2 stress. No, we don't risk it. We don't risk it. Oh, man, we can't use Marco at all. No. No. All right, another turn. Here we go. Because one dangerous where he gets 2 stress and he's out. Again. Do we risk a 3 here, or I just do a 4? If I do a 5, that's just a guaranteed, and then we just finish this cipher. Yeah, let's just finish it. Boom, done. You leave Docker's Rest with an Otspo passkey in hand, sure to get you inside one of their safe houses. Now the trick's to find one. You make your way through the docks, head down in the dark passageways. Sleeper, Junie's voice cuts through the hiss of the air cyclist. Marco's gone. You stop in the Darkside passageway you were drifting down, a quiet connection between 2 thoroughfares. You glance around at the loose bundles of wires and stained metal plates. It seems like a safe place to talk. He just left. Junie looks nervously down at her feet. He said he had something he wanted to do and left. That was it. You pause for a moment, unsure how to react. What's going on? Oh, hello there, pumpkin paste. Welcome to the log pile. Thanks for subscribing, like, comment, all of that. Junie rubs her hands together. I don't know, Sleeper. I don't really know, Marco. I thought you and Seraphin... She trails off. This isn't good, is it? You take a moment. No need to panic. Marco brought you here. He'll get you out. You look down the corridor towards a busier, wider passage where people drift by. If he needed to deal with something, then, well, he needed to deal with something. It doesn't mean anything. But you sure wish he'd given you a warning. Surveilled and now short-handed, this job's going from bad to worse. Okay, yep, bad to worse. What's in here? Make yourselves at home. Okay, so I think it's just the rise we have here. All right. This is actually fine. This is good. We've got good dice here. We'll start with this risky one. No. Oh, she gets the stress. But wait. It says 2, but we only got 1. Oh, this is glitched, isn't it? There we go. Maybe it only said 1. I don't know. All right, I get a +1 here. Oh, and then I got a stress. That's okay. We'll take care of that. Yeah, see, I got 2, but I only got 1. Okay, that might be just a visual... Might just be a visual glitch. Let's actually come over here. We'll track the enforcers. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to push 1 to turn this into a 5 to get another 2. Yes? Another 2. All right, we just need 2 more successes to finish this. And maybe when we finish a day, that other location will go away. We've got 2 more. Well, this day and then 2 more days. No, it's still here. This freaks me out. Why is this here? We already have a passkey. We literally can't do anything here. That's not normal for the game. This is the end game. Maybe it didn't get polished as much as it should have. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like to think that. Come on, 4. Boom. Okay. Now we just need 1 more. So I'm actually going to... You risk a 3? To possibly get it? Oh, no, I did get a little bit of stress. But that's okay, because now I can push, take this 4, turn it into a 5, and get rid of both stress. Yes. All right. We've got him. New location discovered. Utspo entry. Concealed entrance. Unlock the entrance. A simple door leads down to what you suspect is an Utspo safe house. All you need is the passkey cipher to enter. 1 unstable cipher. Oh, here we go. Utspo safe house access. The unmarked door slides open as you use the cipher. Beyond it, a dark tunnel descends. Its roof a mess of bundled tubes and wires. Entering, you see a flickering light at its far end, and hear the soft echo of raised voices. Junie gives you a gentle nod. Let's go listen in. She glances over her shoulder nervously. You drift down the tunnel, keeping your limbs clear of the sides, your passage through the air silent and gentle. You notice the flickering light, the sound of the voices growing ever louder. As you descend through the tunnel, you notice a small dark doorway leading off before the tunnel reaches the bottom. You slow yourself gently, fingertips grazing the metal walls on either side. Glancing through, you see the doorway leads out onto a framework balcony, high on the wall of some dark room. You glance down to the bottom of the tunnel and hear the voices rising in volume. Sleeper, Junie hisses from behind you. The balcony. You come out into the balcony overlooking a dark, cavernous room, lit in patches with a bright area at the far end. It's filled with people, Utspo enforcers and members all facing forward, their floating bodies silhouetted by the pool of bright light ahead, and in that bright pool 2 figures are arguing. You come to the edge of the balcony, a feeling of safety granted to you by both your elevation and the cover of darkness. Below, the entire room has its attention focused on 2 figures in the pool of light. The watching audience keeping to the dark perimeter, as if they're observing a piece of theater. You feel Junie arrive beside you, her attention, like yours, on the scene below.
These are my territories. You need to withdraw.
one figure. Their features hard to define in the pool of light, gestures at the other.
There's no discussion to be had.
The other figure laughs.
You're pathetic. Orin, the Washgate is a joke, like you.
He turns to the crowd, and you see a dark hair, dark eyes, and a smile like a slit. The dark-haired figure addresses the gathered crowd.
Orin makes nothing from the Washgate. All that freight, and he lets it slip by while he soaks up bribes.
Jeering echoes around the crowd.
He's stealing from you all.
Dachi, you piece of garbage.
Orin spits, a glinting orb dripping past the other man.
You've no respect.
A few in the crowd enter the light, gathering behind one figure or the other.
Barely more than an enforcer and already dictating terms. If you had any idea what was happening in the passages, you'd know you've been facing sabotage and resistance across the Washgate.
Orin shakes his head.
Let's suppose control is under question.
Sabotage and resistance. You quietly log the remark in your mind. Those are the people you have to find. Dachi smirks in response.
I still know how it is in the passages, but you are getting soft, Orin.
He glances around.
You can't deal with some angry shop owners.
He makes a show of his mocking laugh.
It's easy to mock, but they're organized, and I'm close to rooting out their meeting places.
Orin folds his arms.
You wouldn't know where to start looking.
If you say so, old man. In the end, it's only a matter of time before some ambitious notices how weak you've become.
Dachi draws a finger across his throat with a grin. The room erupts in shouts. Both sides call out insults, while others from the crowd air their own problems, some drifting into the light to heckle Dachi and Orin directly.
Silence!
A voice cuts through the room, raised above all others. The noise drops. You lean forward to get a better view. A woman holds her muscled arms in the air, a wide, strong posture of control, not surrender.
Both of you.
She shakes her head, her long braids snaking through the air as she does.
Enough. This is not how we do things.
The chaos is replaced by a disgruntled muttering. No one voice willing to rise above the murmur. Dachi floats to one side, arms coolly folded, while Orin fumes opposite him, his hands in tight fists.
So this is how the Starward Ward conducts its business?
She shoots hard looks around the room.
Animals, fighting over scraps.
Ankita, Orin eyes Dachi as he speaks.
Dachi is the one disrespecting the leadership and the trust they've placed in. I said enough. Your weakness does not impress me, Orin.
She turns to Dachi.
And neither does your petulance, Dachi.
Hi, what are you doing? You're interrupting me. I'm recording. What do you need? Nothing? Okay, head upstairs. I'll be up in a minute.
Watch who you're calling weak, Ankita. Orin narrows his eyes. You may be Lane's favorite, but I have something that'll change all that.
He looks out over the heads of the crowd.
Bring it.
A figure's dragged into the circle of light, their head low, a greasy tangle of dark hair drifting over their face. They lift a hand to slick it back out of their eyes.
Marco,
Junie hisses from beside you, as Marco's pale face catches the light, gleaming with sweat.
This one here has a very interesting story to share with us all.
Orin gestures at the gathered crowd.
I'm sure you're all aware of the bounty Lane's put on the head of a very valuable escaped sleeper and their accomplices. Well, Marco here tells me,
he smiles at Marco, whose eyes are fixed forward, squinting into the light,
that the same sleeper is right now on a freighter moored in the Washgate docks.
A ripple runs through the gathered crowd, a reflection of the value of this information. You wonder how much cryo's in your head and Seraphin's head. You look into Marco's eyes, attempting to see any indication of what this might be, a desperate bid to save himself, or a betrayal of everything you agreed upon. His set stare reveals nothing.
Now, Lane himself will be returning in 3 cycles, and you can imagine how pleased he'll be when I present the sleeper to him.
Ankita stares at Orin.
You had no business keeping this from me.
She folds her arms.
I will be the one to bring the sleeper in. Not so fast, Ankita.
Orin turns to the gathered crowd.
The first of you to bring me the sleeper will be given a share of the Washgate. He shoots a look across the circle of light. That includes you, Dachi. The crowd erupts into shouts and movement. The assembled Utspo members suddenly up and moving towards the doors. You push yourself into the corner of the balcony, tucking yourself into the shadows as you hear the tunnel filling with voices. There are shouts and scuffles, and you fear that any moment you'll be discovered. But as time passes, the noise subsides. You only open your eyes when the sound disappears altogether. The Utspo members on their way to your freighter, the freighter that's supposed to take you off Darkside. You feel the panic rising. You're trapped here once more.
Sleeper, I need to get out of here.
Junie whispers at your side. It's too dangerous.
You ascend through the tunnel, silent, slow. Your eyes are on the entrance, hoping that no Utspo member returns or enters. And then you're back out in the main passageway, blinking in the light of the fluorescent panels and gliding away from the entrance, lost in a daze. Somewhere in the rise, you eventually stop. Not sure where you might be going, but needing to get away from what you just witnessed. You can't go back to the freighter. That much is clear, which means no supplies, no place to sleep. Then there's Marco. Was this always part of his plan? Or is this just him in survival mode? Your mind fills with questions and worries, the path ahead unclear.
Marco? Did he really give us up?
Junie hovers in the passageway, her face a mask of concern.
I don't understand, Sleeper.
Neither do I. We don't know yet.
Junie nods, but you hear the desperation in your own voice. Is that really true? You saw him and Nikita. What more do you need? Your mind races with questions. Can you really leave this place without Marco? How would Seraphin react? If he actually has been caught by Utspo, can you forgive him for giving in to the pressure? You're struggling to be angry at him, perhaps because you've been there, where he is now, under Utspo's control. What would you have done to escape? Who would you have given up? The tapping of the keys in Junie's terminal interrupts your train of thought. You look at her, springing into action. Her pragmatism is a strength, but she doesn't understand people and what drives them. To her, Marco is a mystery, but to you, his betrayal is all too familiar. You'll have to decide how to react. Junie notices you watching her.
We need to find an empty unit here, up in the rise. We have to stay as far away from the docks as we can.
Junie looks up and meets your eye.
We need time to think, to come up with a plan.
She looks back down at her screen.
We always do.
Something chirps in her deck.
Okay, I have an entry code for a unit just up here.
She slides the deck away.
Wait here, I'll be back.
You take a moment, trying to find a focus. Maybe if you could find those resisting Utspo, they could help you. Though you wonder if they ever existed at all, given that Marco was the one who reported their existence to you and Seraphin. Was this whole thing ploy to collect the bounty, to bring you to Darkside? If you search out Marco, perhaps he can answer you, for better or for worse. But then you recall Oren's words, sabotage and resistance. If that was an honest plea, then there's some truth in what Marco said. Utspo is being resisted. You try to gather yourself. You have to bounce back to come up fighting. Otherwise, this place will drown you in its darkness. Okay. Oh, and we're out of supplies. Lovely. There's an abandoned unit over here we can end the cycle at, but we'll get stress for everywhere. And there's a flicker row. We can steal supplies, and neither of us are good at that. Terrible. Terrible turtle harm. Okay, well, we are actually going to have to stop this episode right here. We will come back next time on the BackLog. Thank you all for joining us on this terrible, terrible time. I'll play with you again later.